we actually had our own brand experience around the Waymaker Men Summit, right, at BT Experience, right?
We had a number of brands that we helped bridge that connection to from a content perspective. Brands like Bevel.
The content piece that we created was the GOAT, greatest haircut of all time.
Another one was Gillette.
We want to lean into the conversation of Black men not feeling like Gillette is for them.
Yeah.
Let's lean into it. Let's hear why, one. Let's debunk some myths, two. And let's start to build that trust factor at the summit.
And just like that, we are back. This is Marketing Mentality, and I'm Desmon Walker. To my right is Alan Shelton. We are hosts of Marketing Mentality as well as co-founders of Narratent Digital Marketing. And it's been a little while, actually, since we filmed. But we're not just back, but we're better and in a totally different way than previously before. We got a little bit of a different place to call home for this podcast now. So we're actually in our own studio.
Yes, W's in the chat for that, man.
W's in the chat.
It feels amazing, bro. This is something that we've always wanted, right? Always thought about, right? We went through a journey, if you remember, about a year, a little less than a year of looking at different spaces and trying to see what fit, what didn't. We got close a couple times to a few different spaces we thought were the ones, and God's timing is everything, man. So I'm similar to you. I'm super, super excited to be in this space, to be able to shoot content as we want to shoot it, man. It's a blessing. Yeah. But the bigger blessing that I see in this isn't just about us, right? This isn't just about Alan or Desmon or Narratent or Marketing Mentality being able to shoot podcasts, but it's also about the community, right? We built this studio, we built this place for creators, for the Chicago community and otherwise to be able to come in and shoot their own content, be able to try some stuff out, not have it be right, reshoot it, shoot it again, try different ideas, the things that they sit on their heads, man. So I want to talk about that a little bit too, man. Like, what are you feeling about that, man? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got the proof of concept in terms of not only the Marketing Mentality platform, but the proof of concept of building our own studio, our own infrastructure. As an agency, it only makes sense. Content production is necessary in any business for the most part. And so we have done the heavy lifting, I would say, of building this out. Because we've had the means to as well, aside from it just making sense. And so recognizing that this is what we have. So right here in the South Loop, right at home, you can find it, whether you are a plumbing business, whether you are selling baked goods, or you're, as Alan said, a creator and you want to sit down and not go through all of the headache of setting up or paying for a bunch of gear and equipment, but just sitting down and getting it rolling, and whatever that narrative is that you need to get on film, you have it here. Yeah.
Big things coming to the South Loop, to Chicago, man. We actually have our official open house on July 24th. Super excited about for people to get a first look in the space, right? Be able to feel and have it be alive for them, right? We're going to have some headshots. We're going to have some DJ, our homie, fraternity brother Breeze is going to be DJing. We're going to have interviews in this space right now, just talking to different creators in the Chicago community and allowing them to see what we've been working so hard on, man. So I'm super excited about that. But getting past that a little bit, man, we're back, bro. We are back. It's been a little minute since we shot an episode. Not for any bad reason. We've been working. We've been grinding. We've been doing the work behind the scenes, but also still building out this studio. But now we have no excuse. But in the meantime, bro, you want to talk a little bit from your perspective about what we've been up to since we've been off, per se?
Doing the work is what we've been up to. We're always doing the work, mostly off camera, mostly you know, heads down, tunnel vision, grinding. And so we're here to now document the process a lot more consistently. With that being said, you know, we've done a few different things. We've done a couple of rebrands since the last time we filmed.
Yeah.
One that had been really a year in the making. So I think that's the first thing to talk about is, you know, rebranding in itself. I think that's something we've touched on before, but, you know, there's this misconception that rebranding is a new logo and a color palette.
No.
And making this big announcement that you've rebranded and then doing it again in a few months, then a few months after that. But rebranding is a lot more comprehensive when done properly. The first rebrand that we rolled out so far this year was a year in the making, as you know, with a local nonprofit here in Chicago by the name of Skills for Chicago. About a year ago, Skills came to us as an organization that's been around for about 12 or 13 years. And they said, hey, we need a rebrand. We need to refresh our identity. What we do is we focus on helping people who live on the south and west sides of Chicago, parentheses, black people, parentheses, to Hispanics is probably their second biggest segment. We're focused on, one, getting people jobs who are unemployed, two, getting people into better positions that they may be qualified for but are not currently in. So that was the premise of the need for the rebrand, aside from being around for a while and needing a refresh. You know, they're telling a different story at this point. They're focusing not only on getting people jobs, but they're focusing on the employers themselves as well and building relationships with them and telling them a certain story. So with that in mind, Alan, what would you say when you think about a rebrand itself?
First of all, I've praised to the Most High for allowing us to get to the point where we were able to do a full-fledged rebrand for a local nonprofit in Skills for Chicago, now the new rebrand name. It's a journey, man. It's literally getting engaged and getting married and then living happily ever after until you have to rebrand again, hopefully not. It's a journey of, one, looking into yourself internally as a company, as a brand, to see, hey, how are we showing up in front of our audiences right now, right? So we did a lot of the work of analyzing how they are currently showing up. So it starts there, right? A lot of auditing, a lot of analyzing in terms of that. And then from there, it's re-engineering that. When
you say audit, though, audit can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
We're talking IRS type of audit?
No, not quite. It's auditing their messaging, their positioning, how they're showing up to a current audience, right? What is their mission statement? What is their purpose statement? What are the audience segments? How are their current audience receiving the current brand right now, right? Sometimes you find some good things that just need slightly shifted, and sometimes you find some things that just need to be completely overhauled, and that's fine too. But
to break that down a little bit more simplistic, I would say too, for people that may not be as abreast to marketing speak, it's like an audit is like someone inviting you into their home. Right? They're saying, hey, we need a renovation. And what we do is we say, before we start to tear walls down, we're going to go into these closets, go into these rooms and pull out all the junk, all the skeletons, all the things that have been sitting around unaccounted for or unused. And you pick out the good, the bad, the ugly, and turn it around, right? Make observations. A lot of times it's calling people's baby ugly a little bit, but also saying, hey, here's what's cute about your baby as well. And framing that all, structuring that all in a way that informs what the rebrand will then turn into, right? Yeah.
So it's doing that. And then once you get to that point, it's starting to build anew, right? Something that we feel confident in as an agency, right? Understanding that a lot of trust is given to us from that company, from that brand, to say like, hey, we trust you to lead us in a better direction, a different direction, a more forward direction of where we want to be. Right. And that takes a lot of humility to do that, but we don't take that for granted. And then from there, it's presenting that to the client, presenting the audit, as you mentioned before, presenting the new direction that we want to go in. That doesn't necessarily eliminate everything that they've already done by any means, right?
Sure.
But it adds a refresh, it adds a refocus, it adds a refined type of look, tone, everything that goes into it. And like we'll get to this in other episodes, really breaking down large scale rebrands that's globally to local rebrands that we've done before.
We can do that right now.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic.
Yeah.
One comes to mind that we actually were just talking about a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But I believe the world is now actually seeing the rollout of, which is Red Lobster.
Right.
So at the time we last talked about it, really the most we had to go by is this new CEO of Red Lobster talking about what his vision was for the new Red Lobster as a rebrand. But now with this seafood boil introduction to the Red Lobster menu, now you really get to see what a rebrand actually is in real life, where you can actually see it, touch it, smell it, and in this case, taste it. And I think it's actually been interesting to watch for different reasons, right? Number one, I think it shows the innovative thinking that is behind this, right now, because if let's just talk about the black consumer segment for a second. If you know black people and you know seafood, you know that a seafood boil needs to be on the menu.
Right.
I don't know, you a fan of seafood boils?
Yeah, I am. It's super popular. There's a lot of chains where you can get seafood boils, some better than others. Yeah. But why not Red Lobster?
Why not? Yeah.
Right, being a place.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
But that's just, I think, one void that was probably recognized as, hey, we need to tap into this and see how it goes, because we're really just on the sidelines right now. Yeah. With this.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because I had a seafood boil recently in the last week or so as well. And I was...
That's what that garlic smell was.
Yeah, come on, Brent, chill out. I was telling the person I was talking to, I was like, hey, Red Lobster back in the day, right? Back in the day, in the 90s, right? I was young. They used to have this thing called, I think it was like Krabby Mondays or Krabby Tuesdays or something like that, where you can go into Red Lobster and you can get all you can eat. You pay for it one time, it's all you can eat crab legs. Yeah. Now, it's not the king crab legs, it's the snow crab, right? But all you can eat, whatever the case. They bring you buckets, you put the shells in one bucket, and you just keep on going. Like, me and my father used to go religiously every single week. Yeah. And I used to think, even back then, I'm like, how can they afford that? Right? It's like every week, And maybe it was like, we'll do the research. I think it was maybe during a certain season or something like that. That would make sense. But it's interesting that now, all these years later, they want to bring back, seafood boil. It's not all you can eat crab, right? But, it's a different change, a different, a different tone, a different message, a different feature to what Red Lobster can offer. And we'll see if it works. We'll see if people latch on to it. You gonna go to Red Lobster for that?
I was thinking about it.
See if it's good or not. Every seafood boil isn't made the same, man.
Right.
Like,
so speaking of which, let's put the pieces together real quick. So a few months ago, maybe south of a year ago, Red Lobster appoints this new CEO, black guy, millennial, 30-something, from from Springfield, Illinois, by the way. I had Champaign on the mind.
You wanted to add Champaign. He's from Champaign.
217. There's that. Just a fun fact about the guy. Fair. Nonetheless, now they've introduced this seafood boil, which I believe showcases some cultural intelligence. Yeah. And within a week of introducing the seafood boil, they've now added multiple flavors, which I believe is on the backs of doing social listening.
What, like lemon pepper, Cajun, like those type of flavors?
Like those type of flavors. Gotcha. Cajun is one of them. They put like Old Bay and garlic.
Yeah, you got different tiers of like spice or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, but think about it though, right? So whereas many corporations at the Red Lobster level would put something out and otherwise sit back and wait, right? Yeah. Within a week of introducing it and having 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days of feedback that customers and people that haven't even just tried it but are just doing what people do on social media, talking about it, right? For better or for worse. You know, you got people that are loving it, you got people that are hating it, you got some people in between that are saying it's pretty good, but I wish it had been seasoned a little more, right? Yeah. Within just a week's time of that and monitoring that real time constructive criticism, in many cases, they've acted.
Yeah, they reacted quickly.
I think that's a case study on proper social listening and actually putting some action behind it as well. You know,
that's dope. Yeah. So, speaking of brands, man, we actually had our own brand experience, right, in the last month and a half ago around the Waymaker Men Summit, right, at BT Experience, right? I want to talk about that a little bit because I think our audience can understand a different perspective when it comes to branding, right? And how brands, popular brands like Red Lobster or other brands show up. They exist, right? They're a household name. Yeah. But how does that message, their messaging need to shift depending on who they're looking to target or initiative that they're looking to drive down, all right?
So, so for large-scale events, right, how large-scale events actually are able to take place is that they are funded mostly by sponsorships. That means brands, usually at a big Fortune 500 corporate level, are saying, okay, media company or event company, you have audience at a certain scale, be it thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, that will all convene, in this case, in a physical space. That's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of eyeballs, and we see value in putting our brand into that space so that it gets that visibility. There's a story that we're trying to tell to this audience, and the idea is that it has some kind of commercialized value. People see the brand and now they're top of mind when they're out in the marketplace later today looking for toothpaste. Right. And I saw Colgate at that event. Now I'm gonna buy Colgate. Yeah. Conceptually, that's the idea, right? And for the large scale event planner, in this case, Waymaker, that helps them out because now it helps the bills get paid because those brands are writing checks for that visibility. Right. So in this case, with Waymaker Men Summit, we had a number of brands that we helped bridge that connection to from a content perspective. Brands like Bevel, which is a brand owned by, started by a Black man by the name of Tristan Walker, actually, and then was acquired by P&G, Procter & Gamble, a few years back. Bevel, their products, you want to talk more about their products?
Yeah, so thank you for saying that as well, because the audience needs to understand like the whole point of sponsorships, right? It isn't just like, hey, I got this cool logo on my flyer. Right. That actually needs to be connected to something, right? Right. They're going to benefit, the brand, the sponsor, and then the company or the entity that's doing the event is going to benefit as well. So it's mutually beneficial, right? But in terms of what you were talking about with Bevel, Bevel has products, right? So clippers and different butters and stuff that they go on your beard and conditioners and things of that nature. Yeah. But their whole initiative just globally that they were looking to push is fresh never fades, right? So understanding that, hey, you're going to get a cut, you're going to get a cut by a Bevel clipper, you just good all the time. It's not going to fade, right? No pun intended, like a haircut fade. Yeah. So what we were able to do to connect the pieces on, the theme of the summit, the Waymaker Men Summit, was someone has to be greatness, why not you, right? So using Bevel's fresh never fades and connecting it to someone has to be great, we coined greatness never fades, right? So a combination of the content that was going to be showing up at the summit, right? So how Bevel showed up at the summit was they had barbers, right? They brought out barbers that were giving attendees cuts, men, the haircuts, right? Using the Bevel products, all right? So it was our job to create that story around the haircut experience, which as Black men, right, we know getting a haircut is probably top 5, top 3, and it's probably top 2, and it's not 2, right? Getting a haircut is fire, is good, right? It changes your whole perspective, everything, that's right. But how do we get that across, right? So we came up with a few content ideas. I'll talk about a couple, but one is an age-old conversation that happens in barbershops, right? When barbershops, what happens, right? We debate about.
It's a forum.
It's a forum, right? We debate about all types of things.
Everything from
Relationships,
small to big,
right?
proper to messy.
Right.
Barbershop is a meshing pool.
Exactly.
Of conversation and dialogue.
Exactly. Right. So using that, right, and this comes down to the content. The content doesn't need to be some out of world idea that drops down and now nobody ever talk about it. Use the content that exists. Use the conversations that exist already. Right. Yeah. That's right there, right? You just make it. That's the organic part of it. So the conversation, the content piece that we created was the GOAT, greatest haircut of all time, right? Yeah. What's the greatest haircut of all time? Understanding that's debatable, right? Yeah. Depending on who you are, what type of haircuts you like, right? Let's have a conversation about it, right? And get that on camera. Let's ask the barbers, let's ask the attendees, and see what they say. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So again, small, right? But also in the grand scheme of things, large. Yeah. When we presented this to Bevel, they were like, "Oh, that's a great idea, right? Let's do that." Yeah. Perfect forum for it.
Yeah. So Bevel was one. Another one was another P&G owned brand by the name of Gillette.
That was interesting.
Gillette is interesting because, again, for you to really understand how this all works, right? Brands are not just a logo. It's not just even a product, but there's a premise behind it all on the brand side and then as a consumer, right? Mm-hmm. So as Gillette, they're selling razors. As a consumer, and in particular as a black consumer, Gillette isn't necessarily the go-to. In fact, when you think of Gillette, you probably think of a white male being the poster child of that brand. Gillette Stadium on the East Coast, the Patriot Stadium, who up until a few years ago was the poster child of the Patriots.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, Captain America. So with that being said, how does a brand like Gillette get centered in front of a black audience, right? Well, what we came to find out in this case is, as much as it was about the narrative, right, from a cultural perspective, it was also about science, I would say as well, the science of the product. Mm-hmm. And so what we did there was we sat down a creator. He underwent the process of shaving. And through that process, he was educated on the science behind the product by the person that was servicing him.
Yeah. It was, man, Gillette, that was such a big case study for us. I can talk hours about this, man. Yeah. But as you mentioned, just call it out, like put it on the table. Gillette hasn't been targeted towards black people, black males at all, right? They'll tell you that. We actually had conversations with people from P&G and saying like, hey, we understand that. We understand that that's the conversation. That's the mentality that people have. Yeah. But, and this was actually very, I wouldn't say surprising, but it was refreshing for me to hear them say, but they said, we want to lean into those conversations. We don't want to, we want to lean into the conversation of black men not feeling like Gillette is for them. Right. Instead of shying away from it, like, okay, let's just stick with what we know. Let's stick with the audience that we know. Like, no. Yeah. Let's lean into it. Let's hear why, one. Let's debunk some myths, two. And let's start to build that trust factor at the summit, right? Just as a whole. Right. For me, for us, that was very motivating for us to do great work. I'm like, okay, let's do that. Because I want to be educated. Because tell me that Gillette isn't for white men or whatever the case may be. And that's what it was. So as you mentioned, the creator, shout out to Norin, shout out to My Bully Podcast, but the creator was able to, it wasn't scripted, right? Yeah, we told him the premise of what he's going to be doing, but he genuinely learned in that moment as a black male about shaving, things that he is going to apply moving forward, right? Yeah. So again, it was a match made in heaven for that, and the education was provided. Yeah,
which made it effective too, because we talk about authenticity in our industry as a buzzword, but it was right there because he was being educated in real time. He was speaking to his experience in real time. I remember Noor said something to the effect of, my mama said that whenever I see 2-in-1 or 3-in-1, it ain't for me. Right?
Is that how can you be everything all at once?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
You can't make that up.
That's real. Yeah, that's real.
Because how many mama-isms do we all follow consciously or subconsciously in our day-to-day as grown men? A lot of them.
Real.
So it just goes to show how the loop, the thread can be woven through so many different pieces when it comes to marketing.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It's phenomenal. It's one of my favorite parts about marketing, digital marketing, is you don't have to search too far for the stories that we all live. You heard the term all the time, is that we all had the same childhood, or we all were brought up the same type of way. Yeah. Because from the cartoons that we watch, from how we live life, from et cetera, right? So using those stories to create real-time content is the most authentic thing you can do. Yeah. One last brand that comes to mind is Asia Wilson, right? Mm-hmm. And her new shoe coming out, and that viral commercial that was partially directed by Melania Obama, right? Yeah. Malia Obama, excuse me, but well,
she's not claiming Obama.
She's not claiming Obama. Her mama didn't do Obama. I don't call her Obama, but basically, man, just quickly with that is that commercial went viral, but that's literally our culture. Yeah. Like that is our culture. The stoop, the double dutch, the chants, everything, right? Yeah. So W that. But I mean it's really just duplicated across platforms. So it was cool.
Yeah, for sure. So that was the rebrand from Skills for Chicago. Yeah. Waymaker Men Summit obviously has been a big part of our assignments the last couple of months. Mm-hmm. We got more on the way. Yeah. I'm in particularly excited about this D1 sports thing. Yeah. It's a franchise. We've never worked with the franchise before. So think of McDonald's, Burger King as a model, but fitness facilities focused on priming athletes for collegiate sports, professional sports, and if no structured sports at all, just that conditioning and strength building. Yeah. Using the D1 sports model. Yeah. In a way.
Yeah. Right? It's a super cool opportunity. One, just individually, like we love and appreciate sports, you know. So it's cool to be able to bring that passion to the agency, and with our people as well, come together to figure out different strategies, ideas, and everything around that franchise. As we know, we could talk about franchises for a second, just holistically, is that when you have a franchise, you're global, right? You have a lot of different branches, but each branch has its own personality as well, right? Yeah. So this is the first time, and shout out to KJ, the owner of this franchise in Chicago Oak Park area. So this is the first time that D1 is coming to this area, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for that to be a big moment for the community as well. Yeah. But with that, as I said before, yes, you have brand guidelines, this overall D1, but you have opportunities to make it your own as well. And I think that's the best part about having a franchise and really branding it as you see fit.
Yep. As a startup owner too, it's particularly exciting to me as well, because the whole premise of a franchise model is so that you take processes, systems, the brand, the operational IP, and you replicate it right across the country. Mm-hmm. And so as a startup founder, I think seeing that at scale and how you get there is going to be an interesting learning experience for us as well. So, other than that, it's summertime.
Summertime shop.
It's internship season.
Yes, it is.
We've taken on not one, not two, but 3 interns for this summer. Yeah. And so I'm particularly excited now that we're halfway through to kind of really start to see that progress.
Yeah. It's, again, going back to what we wanted as an agency, as individuals, as we scale and grow. Yes, the work is going to be the work, but how can we take Narratent and create these branches or these arms outside of that? And one of them was internships, giving back to the next generation of hopefully marketers, right? And they're going to go whatever direction that they want. But I mean, we're a little biased. But it's like you said, it's cool seeing the growth, seeing the spots that they said that they want to learn and grow in, right? The spots that they're already good at, and seeing the personality. Yeah. This is the first time that we've had an intern that's in high school, right? So, 16 years old, so much life, right? I remember 16. You remember 16. I didn't know anything. Everything I thought I know, I was wrong. But I also wasn't in the position this intern is in to be able to see a startup, to be able to see operations and the things that we didn't get exposed to till later. Yeah. To see that in real time, so it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think in a world where everyone is focused on building a pipeline from a sales perspective, right, and chasing the next client and filling their pipeline of connections up and networking. What about focusing on the pipeline of the talent that you're cultivating in the industry too? So
that's a bar.
That's really just where our thinking comes from with this, and not only our thinking, but we have to give proper credit where it's due too. So shout out to the Chicago Summer Business Institute for funding the program, for having been doing the program for 30, I believe, years, give or take, here in Chicago. And then, of course, shout out to the Lewis Carr Foundation as well for the collegiate interns as well, something he's been doing for 20 plus years and funding as well. So, that's just really what it's all about, man, is not only talking about it, but being about it.
Yeah.
So teeing it up, now that we got this studio of our own built out, I think there's a lot that people can expect, both from the studio itself and from Marketing Mentality as a platform. So tell us what we can expect.
Yeah, man, I think the biggest thing is more conversations, deeper conversations, right? Deep dives into things that we actually had the pleasure of talking to a viewer and a listener of the Marketing Mentality podcast the other day, and asking him, being able to get his perspective about what he wants to see more from the podcast, right? I think he told me behind the scenes, strategy, deep dives into different things, our process, right? For us, it comes naturally in a lot of ways, but really breaking it all the way down to the minute details. We have more time, right? We have this place inside of our home that allows us to take those deep dives. I'm excited to connect with other creators in the community, see what they've been up to, see what aspirations and passions that they've been working on, how that aligns, right? The synergy of that, right? There's a lot of stories out there that need to be told that they don't have the right infrastructure to be able to tell those stories, So I'm excited to do that more, serve as a real beacon, a content creation beacon in the community, and seeing where that takes us as well. So a lot of things, man.
Yeah. Telling a story.
Yeah.
Our agency is named Narratent for a reason.
Yep.
Every brand, every person, every entity has a narrative and needs content to tell that narrative. And this is the home for that. So more interviews with other professionals, other entrepreneurs, other people that are building something up from the ground, more people that will be educating our watchers and listeners on what it takes, and not just at a high level for the sake of just inspiration, but no, here's the X's and the O's, right? Here's exactly the blueprint you need to follow in the next 90 days to get from square one to square four, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. So, it's an exciting time. And I'll also challenge too, Donzie, you want to switch to my camera. If you're a creator out there, entrepreneur, business professional, or what have you, this is your sign, man. Like, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have this perfect playbook, this perfect blueprint. But our studio, Narratent Studios, exists for ideation, for creation, right? To come together and figure out what needs to be created, right? Because your perspective, your lived experience is enough, man. So it's really just about packaging it and then shooting it and then putting it out into the world, man. So that's the whole point of this thing. It isn't just about us. It never was. So we're excited to build this thing up.
Yeah. and documenting the process at the end of the day.
At the same time.
This is not for the sake of your gimmicky type of content. It's to document the process and kind of put it into a timeless vault. I think one of the things that excites me about doing this is that as far as we know it right now, something like the internet will exist for a very, very, very long time. And so I take solace in knowing that my 1.5-year-old in 2031 will be able to tap in and watch this back and listen back to it and take something out of it. And if nothing else, just think, hey, this is pretty cool. So
yeah, that's amazing. I'm excited, man. Congratulations to you, my brother, man. This is dope. It's not a small thing. I don't want to act like it is because it's not, right? And it's up to us to be able to keep on watering the flowers, but also smell them at the same time, right? As we continue to build, man. So this is a win for us, but everyone. You know, so
no doubt. Yeah,
for sure.
So with that said, I think this kind of wraps it up, man. So great conversation, great warm up to getting back into the mix. And with that said, be sure that you follow us on Marketing Mentality Pod on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're in your car most days and you just need something to listen to at the same time, kill two birds with one stone. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, can find us there as well. And just reach out as well. We might be surrounded by brick walls, but we don't want to talk to them. So with that in mind, let's make this more of a two-way street and a community that continues to build with us. So and that's a wrap.